Hello and welcome to another Final Cut Pro and Motion tutorial. We're going to build a plugin. It's going to be a YouTube subscriber button. Now you've got the benefit of seeing this after I've made it. There's nothing at the moment. I've done absolutely nothing. We're going to start from scratch. And also this plugin is going to be available for free on the Industrial Revolution website. So if you don't want to make your own, you can just go ahead and download it. But talking of subscriber, if you could subscribe to the Industrial Revolution channel, that would be great. It all helps. Maybe leave some comments, what shall I build next? I'm going to do a few more of these. Likes, comments, subscribes, bells, all welcome. So what exactly are we going to build? This is the Industrial Revolution YouTube page, and as you can see, this is the glass panels plugin that we released. And what I want to do is replicate this subscribe button to try and get people to subscribe and ring the bell on your YouTube channel. And down here is fine, but what I want to do is to build a plugin, and it's going to pop up on here somewhere. Now if we just have a look down here, at the moment you can see it's red. If I go up, it goes from the pointer to a hand, and if I click on that, it goes from red to that kind of like blue edge around there, and also the bell pops up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that. Possibly it's a bit too much to have all of those, so I'm just going to go all, and then that'll be the end. So it's going to be the animation, the box, and the bell, and then back off again. So we'll see how that works. Maybe we need to put the whole thing on white. I don't know. So let's start building it. Off into Motion. We're going to build this plugin. Now, if you've been watching my previous tutorials, you will know that because I'm going to be using text, it's going to be a title, because you get access to all the text controls. Doesn't matter about 1080, because everything we're going to build is going to be a vector, so you can scale it. 29.97, that's fine. Duration 100 frames, that's what? I was going to say 4 seconds, but that's actually in NTSC. Let's make that, let's say 150. We're going to have to come back and alter that, or not come back to this, but alter it on the timeline, possibly when we know how long the animation is going to last, because we're going to have a build in and build out as well. Okay, fine. Yep. Open that. And you'll have seen before, I tend to just kill that and call that. This time it's going to be background, not background. So my friend Chris won't complain. And then I end up turning that off and putting a new group over the top of that. So I've always got the title background here if I need it, or to clone it. Right, now first things first, I'm wondering what colour the YouTube red is, because it starts off red, doesn't it? So why don't I go back to Safari and go new tab, and let's say what colour, American spelling, is YouTube red, and it's actually got the hex code. Okay, that's fine. So let's copy that. Don't think it's with the hash, or is it with the hash? No, it will be with the hash, won't it? Yeah, of course. Copy. Right, back to this. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to build it in the center to start off with, and then move it and scale it. I'm just trying to think the easiest way to do this, and it's probably easiest to build it as, I'm going to need a border around it, so I probably want it as an object. So let's draw a rectangle on there. Let's have a guess at it to start off with, but we're going to probably do it quite big. I need to allow space for the bell, so I'm thinking about something about that big. Okay, and that rectangle, inspector. Now fill color, we're going to go for the hex code. Now whereabouts is the hex code on there? Always get this mixed up. It's going to be, oh, it's down here somewhere. That's interesting. Yeah, it's down here, isn't it? RGB sliders, there you go, hex code. Tap that in, and that might be one too many. No, that's perfect. Because it actually strips the hashtag off the front. There you go, you learn something every day. Right, let's adjust that. I'm not too sure if the colour looks right, really, but we'll compare it. Now I'm going to just adjust the geometry of that and do the size, but let's put that, go 0 and 0 to centre it up. Yep, I like that. And now looking forward, I want to put a border around it as well, don't I? So if I go shape, Style outline. And it was that, it was a bluey colour, wasn't it? So let's say the width. Did they end up being a bit round as well? So maybe it goes a bit roundness after that, like that. Something like that. So if we take the stroke off, do I get a rounded? I do. I'm just trying to remember, was the box rounded or square when we hit it? Can't really tell, can you? Yeah, I think it's got a little round edge, so I think that's probably about right. Okay, on there. Now that text is in white, and I think that's fairly standard. Okay, let's put some text on there. So this is going to be red box. Let's call this red box. On there. And you'll be able to adjust the size of that. Do you want to publish that? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let's publish that. We just need to do that with one of these. Because if you publish both of these, it'll pop up on the output. Oh, I've got that wrong. Unpublish. Okay, because that was selected, wasn't it? Publish. I think there's a bit of a bug in motion with publishing some of these parameters. Not that I'm saying they're doing this wrong. But if you publish that, then the width and height should be published at the same time. Publish. It's just the width. Okay, let's go back down here. Height. So we've got both of those. Don't know why. Don't know why. Sometimes with motion, there's something that's really can like throw you with those. Okay, and then we're going to go text. Let's put this in the same group, because if we move the whole thing, yeah, that's centered. So we're going to need some text on there. That's fine. What did it say? Subscribe, obviously. Yep. Okay, text on there. Subscribe. That's obviously too big, and we're going to center that up. 0, 0. And I think it looks a bit like, I think it looks like a bit Arial. And we've all got Arial on our computers. That's a bit too narrow. Arial. I think that looks pretty good. Subscribe. Subscribe. Somewhere around there. How does that look compared with that? Subscribe. Smaller. Okay, pull that down to maybe 36. No, that's the Y, so it's down on there, isn't it? Yeah. Let's call that 106. Somewhere around there. And that's still centered. Right, I'm liking that. And yeah, I think this is the right red color on there. No movement at the moment, so we're going to put that in. Possibly one of the last things that we do on there. So that's white and that's red. That's fine. Okay, now I'm going to admit I'm going to cheat slightly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Safari, and then I've got that subscribe button already, but I want that and the bell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Command-Shift-4, which will give us this cursor. Just lasso that, and it'll take a screen grab of that, and you can see I've got it down here. Yep, I don't want to open it in preview, but I do want to go back and bring it into, it's on the desktop, isn't it? It will be on the desktop, I would have thought. There we go. I want to bring that in. What am I doing? Bring that in. Oh, basically you got your knickers in a complete twist here. Right, bring that in as media, and then I'm going to make another layer on there. Let's call that grab, and then drop that in. Bring it up a bit. Interesting, been using Photoshop a long time, and they've changed in the last 12 months constraining the XY dimensions. I keep getting confused by it now. Undo. So I think it's with motion, it's kind of, you've got to hold shift to constrain the proportions, but it's the other way around. It used to be like that on Photoshop, and now it's the other way around, possibly by default, I don't know. Okay, got the subscribed. It goes to subscribed, that's interesting. So we can actually change that. Okay, it's going to have to, adding a D is going to be difficult. So in that case, it's going to be 2 different boxes and then a cut between the 2 different boxes. Okay, so it's going to be a beginning and end. And that goes to grey and that goes to grey as well. That's fine. So it starts off like that. Red box. So let's duplicate that and go, let's call it subscribe box. And then let's put this at somewhere sensible, let's say 50. I'm going to hit the O on the red box, which will end that. And then I'm going to hit an in on the subscribed box, which will do that. And then if I blow this timeline up, I need to just overlap it like that. So that'll change from that to that. Okay, in the red box, let's call that subscribed. I'd imagine the text is centered all the time. I would hope so. Subscribed. So it's going to go click and we're on that. Yeah. Okay, and then we need to pick some colors. So because I've got this in here, we can actually blow this up a bit more. And pick the colours off there and then put the outline round there. I mean, it's actually a bit, it's a fatter box, isn't it? But I mean, I quite like the size of that. Maybe make it a bit fatter. But if we do that, we're going to have to make it fatter on both of them. But then again, we need to have it fat for the bell. So why don't we just go and make that one a bit bigger then? Rectangle. In that case, we don't want to publish these, do we? We need to take these off, because you've got 2 different controls. You could link them. Yeah, why don't we link them later on? Okay, let's leave that then. So this is a bit higher. Like that. Let's call that 226. And why don't we link them now? Would that be a good idea? Let's just try it with the border first of all. So the subscribe box is 226, did we say? Should have done this beforehand, didn't we? Height 226. That goes from there to there. That's just the text changing. And we've got this outline. So we can now add that to the copy of that rectangle. Style, outline, pick that color. It's going to be that color. Yep. Bit more width. And we're going to have a bit more of the roundness, which is in the geometry. It's like that. Yep. Okay, it's obviously not red. So we need to do the fill. Style, pick that color. Yep. And then the text. We're going to pick that color, which is appearance. And that's face, pick that colour. And let's see if we can get this bang on. There. Looks a bit darker, doesn't it? Okay, let's push this down here actually. Get this out of the way. So what I can do is I can actually push this up size-wise. And then go to the text. Is that the right one? No, it's that one. Pick that. Get that bang on. There we go, that's better. Amazing how sharp that looks now. Okay. So let's just turn that off. It goes like that. Yep. Liking that. So this space here leaves us time for the animation on there, and if we do a build in and build out. Okay. Right, now what I'm tempted to do as well is put those two boxes in a group. So let's do both of those. If I can press the right key on the keyboard. Group. Let's call this boxes. Okay, liking that so far. Right, let's just get sorted for the next bit. We'll go Shift Z to bring that to full screen in the viewer. And next up, we're also going to toggle the grab back on, because next up is going to be this bell, which only appears after you've hit the subscribe button. So we need to design that bell. So what I'm going to do is go new group, push that up to the top, and we'll call that bell. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build this bell out of shapes with points, and hopefully it'll be the stroke on there should be fine. I've done this before with the social media plugins that I sell. You could just take a grab of it, I suppose, but by doing it with the shapes, it means it's all vector, so you can blow the thing up to whatever size you like, and it doesn't really matter. And I found out that the bigger you make it, the easier it is. So you end up making it huge and squishing it down a bit, but that's fine because obviously Motion and Final Cut Pro 10 can take it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow this up even more because I want to build this quite large and then shrink it down. Okay, and then we're going to start from the top. That's fine because this is actually just a grab, so it's going right across there. Okay, so we're going to build it with this, and it's going to be the same color, possibly. Is it the same color as that? It's not. It's actually, it's in between. That grey is in between this dark grey and that grey. That's interesting. So how are we going to make sure that we can see that? Because possibly we have to put the white in as well, which is interesting. Because if it's going to go over video that's quite light, you won't see it. So maybe we have to put the white in as well, which could be the fill. How are we going to have to cheat it? I think what I'm going to have to do is build this quite roughly to get the shape, and then put the white over the top of it to cut out the inside. So that makes real sense. Okay, I know what I'm doing now. It might not sound like it, but I actually do know what I'm doing. So right, let's go to the bell. Again, it doesn't really matter what color, but we're going to do this with Bezier points and blow the thing up. Go over to it. And I think if I do the stroke, so we would start there. We'll worry about these bits a bit later. So let's start there. Go to there. That's where the center is of there. Don't worry about that. We're going to come back and sort that out. Go to there, down to there, and then like that, and sort that out. So we see that Bezier. That's the outside bell. Outside bell. Because what I'm going to do is going to go to shape and just fix some of this geometry points here. As you can see, that's going up and down, so that's going to be the same height as that. Really what I should do, thinking about it, I should actually build this bang on the center, but and then offset it, because that would make the geometry easier. But do you know what? I'm just going to guess it, because I think when it's shrunk down, you're not going to notice. Okay, so that is going to be smooth to there. That's going to be linear. These points can get a bit fiddly, so I'm going to shrink that one down to make that there. That's going to be smooth. That's going to be smooth, but the handle, the Bezier handle is going to be, yeah, don't twist these too much, otherwise they go bonkers. Okay, so just try and match that. Again, match that. Now that's actually going to be quite a good idea to possibly duplicate that for the inside. Let's go duplicate and then go inside bell. Looks like I left the caps lock on, but I'll turn that off. So okay, outside bell, and what we're going to do is the style, we're going to turn the fill off but put the outline on, and then pump up the outline like that. That's looking not too bad actually for a first go. I think that one's a bit low, isn't it? On there. Now you could do some extra time and go into these geometry points and get these all bang on. I should be doing that, I suppose. But I think I'm just going to go with that. Alternatively, I could just go and do it all and speed it all up, and you won't have to sit there while I tap numbers in. But I think that's looking quite good. Okay. Quite pleased with that. I think that's not far off actually. But you know, it looks a bit fuzzy, but I think you get the whole idea of that, of the bell on there. Okay. Let me turn the background off because I think we finished with that. And that is obviously too big, the bell at the moment. So we're going to have to shrink that down. Right, let's see where we've actually put this bell. If we move this thing over, no, it's actually, the whole group is centered. That's fine because this bell is going to appear once this has gone to the subscribed and it slides over, because we're actually going to put a slide over in there. So okay, let's get this bell to the right size. So yeah, I'm going to turn that grab back on again just to give me an idea. Let's shrink this down. I think that we're going to lose that on video, aren't we? So we just need to have a bit of. Again, I'm not holding this down right. Put that down, and then the bell. All of that is going to be shrunk down. We're going to scale that, and we're going to have to move the anchor point on that, aren't we? That's interesting. Okay, I thought it wasn't moving, so anchor point on there. Shrink this down. I reckon it's going to end up being about the same size on there. Yeah, so of course the anchor point is on here, which is the group, isn't it? Okay, so why don't I resize that and put the anchor point on the actual middle of the bell, which will bring that to there, and then I can just push the whole thing back. In fact, while I'm doing it, why don't I put the anchor point on there, and then we'll reposition it, because that might come in handy a bit later. Okay, up to there. Turn the grab off, and I think just at the moment, I think the grid actually put me off, so let's turn that off. Overlays, grid. Blow that up a bit. And I think we're going to end up dropping that down to there. Okay, so that starts off red, goes to that subscribed. And we've got that. That's kind of part one so far. I think we're about halfway through. Now what I've done is I've cheated. I've actually cheated again. What I did is I recorded a QuickTime of the bell being hit and what happens, because if you'll notice there's a hand that goes up. It goes from the cursor to the hand, and then it clicks, and then that goes to the subscribed, and it goes over. You go over to the bell and hit the bell, and it's all this little hand. It's not the cursor. So let me go and find that, and we go to YouTube. That's it, screen recording on there, and let me dump that over here like that. Okay, right, that's a new layer, but we want to put that at the top there. That's a new group. Now if we look at this, if we shuttle through, Screen recording. What I'm going to do is just slide the whole thing down so you can actually see it. With recording in ScreenFlow, you actually get the hand. So it goes from the arrow to the hand. Click. I'm going to run out here, maybe. Let's just bring this timeline down a bit so I can see the whole lot. So it just, anyway, it's just a cut, isn't it? You get the arrow the arrow actually comes on the red subscribe, and then it goes off. Oh, I didn't know that. That's going to mess stuff up, isn't it? So on the end, you get that blue kind of border that goes round, and then it hops over. Okay. To reveal the bell underneath. Okay. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to replicate this hand as well, because I couldn't do it with a screen grab, because when you do a screen grab, it doesn't. The cursor disappears. Okay, there's a challenge, isn't there? So I think what we need to do is we need to just build the animation of that subscribe coming on, the border coming on, and then it hopping over to reveal the bell. I think that's our first port of call. So back to what we've got here. Goes to there, so that needs to reveal the bell, and I think we're again looking at, well, let's pull the bell down in size a bit, scale on there, and we're going to drop that down. Okay, so it starts off like that, so we're going to have to put another one on. Can I modify the border? I probably can, just to kind of like on the last second put the border on by doing can I do the border opacity on that box? That's a subscribe box, the red box on there. Rectangle. Style, outline. I don't think with the, can you alter the opacity of it? I don't know. Maybe we have to do 2. Just duplicate it. I think with the width you can't go below. You can't go below. Unfortunately, you can't go below 1 on the width. But I could do the opacity, couldn't I? So if I pull the, let's just double check. If I do that and pull that opacity right down, yeah, I'm just trying to think. Does that compromise the box? No, it doesn't, does it? So I can do that. So I could just ramp the opacity right at the end. So if I go back to the other one that we had, the subscribe box, what was the width of that format? And we go, no, it's appearance, isn't it? No, that's the text I'm looking at. So it's rectangle. 16, wrong one. That's subscribed. And going to this one. Why is that coming up? Now that is actually the right one. So it's 16 and that blue colour. Let's dunk that in there as well. So we've got that, 16 width. And what about roundness? On there. Geometry 12. Okay. Go back to that one. Which we've got. Layout, no appearance. What am I doing? It might help if I look at the rectangle and not the text. Okay. 16. Is it 16 and 12? Rectangle copy. No, 12 and 16. Concentrate. 12, and then we go for the style. And that was 16. Possibly. And the outline was that blue colour. So it goes like that, and then it hops over. Okay, so if we go to there maybe, and we're going to put a keyframe in. Push it all up there. Could say that's, we're going to put that, yeah. And then go back one. Doesn't fade in, it just hops over, it just kind of comes on, doesn't it? So go like that, click, and over. Click, maybe even more. Okay, into the keyframe editor. Now I'm going to move these keyframes because I want to bring them a bit earlier, and I want to do both of them. So the easiest way to do that is just to lasso them, hold the shift button, and then push them down, and then nothing changes, no values change, click, and over. Click and over. Okay, all right. Well, congratulations if you're staying with this. This is obviously a bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be. Do you know what I haven't done? I haven't saved, have I? Save. I'm going to get this right. Take the caps lock off. Which is that one. Well, that needs to be YouTube subscribe. Subscriber button? Subscribe button, I think. Button. And that's going to go into XEffects free, theme, XEffects free, YouTube subscribe button, publish. Now it's actually going to take that media over with it as well. I'm going to have to get rid of that at some point and kill that, but that's fine. That's fine because you know, that goes with it. But right at the moment, I want to be able to access those regularly. It's easy. I can fix that on there. Hit save once more. Right, we are coming on nicely. Let's kill the keyframe editor on there. What I need to do is duplicate that movement where it all hops over. So I possibly do need the grid on. So let's just go view, and we're going to go overlays, grid, which should give us an idea. That and that are going to have to be centered. So would I end up putting, that's red box, and that's subscribe box, and that's the boxes. So would I end up putting the bell and just move everything over to leave it? Oh, that's a good question. I think the subscribe box should go in the bell group. Really. So that's let's say before click, and then subscribe box and that. I'm going to go, and that's going to be a new group, go after click. Okay, and now I can see this is I've got the center there, so I can now move that to there, which actually is probably going to be 0. Should know that. So click, and then you get the click and over, and you get the bell, and the bell comes on underneath that. So what I'm going to have to do is just go to the bell and then hit I on there, which will kill that group. As you can see now, all those vectors. Go click, click. Yep, I quite like that. Quite like that. It's getting there, isn't it? Right, for the next stage, I think we've got to do the animation. So having a think about this, we need to duplicate the pointer because it's not going to be one of these. If I wobble it, because I've got the show where the pointer is if you wobble the mouse, it's not going to be an arrow, it's going to be a hand. And I think maybe I keep the hand all the way. I don't want the pointer to change. I mean, maybe we just keep the, or maybe we just have the pointer. Who knows? Okay, let's have a look at what we saved on there. And the idea was that I was going to, that isn't it? Let's go just blow that up. Going to make that hand on there. Looks pretty rough when you see it up this scale, doesn't it? Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's duplicate that hand. It's quite a thin line around there. Do I want to paint it, or do I want to do it with a vector? I probably want to do it with a vector. Okay, that needs to be underneath the group. So go new group and call that hand pointer. And we know that's going to be black and white, but we'll get to that point because what we're going to do is start off with a Bezier again, and I'll blow that up. Yes, you might spend quite a lot of your time tracing stuff. So let's go. That's let me start there. That's not far off at all. That's not far off at all. Okay, and then we've got these 3 strips here, which are like a back of a Mickey Mouse glove, isn't it? Of course, we have got a fill on there. So Bezier fill white. It does look quite odd that size, doesn't it? But, you know, if you look at the original, maybe the finger's a bit longer. The rest is okay. Maybe the knuckles, the knuckles look a bit squished. It's not too bad. Okay. So that's the one that we don't want. And pointer, that's on. Kill that one. Well, if I turned off something there, and I turned off that. Okay. So that's too big. Well, I don't mind it being big because it's easier to shrink something down on there, and that is bang on the center, so I can shrink that down. And I think they've got drop shadows as well, haven't they, when they come in? Looks like it. Yeah, it's got a drop shadow on the bottom. So, okay, that's not a problem. Because I can go up to here, go properties, and then go drop shadow. Open that up. Distance down there. Opacity, push up the opacity a bit. And the blur on that to make that stand out. Obviously still too big. Something like that, I'd have thought. Because this is all too big. I mean, it's going to end up just being down here. But that we want to get it the hand the right size compared to the box. And it's kind of possibly the height of the text, isn't it? Somewhere around there. So maybe a bit smaller. I'll tell you what, let's call it 50 just for the moment. Well, actually, when it goes over to the bell, what's that going to look like? Yeah, I forgot to mention we're going over to the bell. Okay, 0. We can change that quite easily. So we're going to have to animate this thing coming in. So it's going to have to be there when that comes on. Okay, that's why I was allowing myself some time at the beginning here to be able to do this animation. So that by then it's going to be clicked. So I reckon we go somewhere around there. What do you reckon? Or there, right in the middle. Okay, so let's put a keyframe in there. And go back here. And we're going to come in from, well, what do you reckon? Down here and maybe over to the left a bit. So if I play that, that's too quick, isn't it? Now I need to allow myself some space for the animation because I'm going to be moving this. You're going to be able to move the size of it. So I need to be able to make sure that if I go back to my editor there, I need to be able to make sure that it's going to be big enough. So we can push that over there. Again, we said we want it slow, so I've lassoed those 2 keyframes in there. Pull those back. So we're getting there. Click, and over it goes. So clicks to there. So I'm going to put another keyframe in because we go over to there. Then we're going to move over to there. Move that to the bell. Looks like we've got some horrible. Yeah, we're going to have to get rid of that. There's a click on there. Goes up, click. Oh, I forgot to take those. Yeah, okay, let's get rid of that for a second. Click. It's going to go over to the bell. And there could be another click on there. Goes up, click. Yeah. Select all of the keyframes and then just drag them over in one. You remember Shake? This is exactly the timeline operation with keyframes. With Shake, I think they just borrowed from the other code. Again, that's too quick, isn't it? So we're going to move this one down. Again, hold it so it constrains the position. Well, we'll try and hold it. Okay, I've got that, and then just drag that down. So it goes over there. Yep, I like that. But what I will do is I'll start that off. I'll tell you what, I'll put the rotation of that hand. Let's just put a bit of rotation on there. Like that. Put a keyframe on there. Then when it comes down to the bottom here, let's rotate it so as if it's coming in from there. Yep. Then we've got the click. Yeah, okay. I'm going to hit save, I think. This is proving to be a long one, isn't it? Okay, so let's turn that off, go full screen with that, and see what we've got so far. Let's pull, let's get my knickers in a twist for this. Let's make that, turn that off. There we go, that's why I can't see it. Don't need that. And we go click, click. Right, another click, I think. Because I'll show you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to there, click. This is the hand pointer. Click. Another click, so another. And then we're going to push the thing right down. So it's going to go way down there. I know I'm going to have to come back and do these again at some point. So, click. Think longer on the bell? Maybe not. Maybe that's going to work. Up there, click, over, click, and down. Now I think it needs just a gnat's longer on the bell. So again, circle the keyframes you want to move, which I've done, or lasso them with the box, hold the shift key down and move them all as one. And then also what I'll do, I think we'll pull this over to the left a bit as well. I think. So we're going to move that over X at the end. So it looks as if it's going away. And I think, again, there, once it starts to go, we'll put another keyframe on the rotation, and when it's down there we'll point back at where it's come from like that, so it looks as if it's coming back out. Click, click, and away. Getting there. We are getting there, and I need to view this full screen now, so we go click and away. Yep. Click, click, and away. Save. Right, back to the animation, go full screen on there, and we're going to pull that back to there, just lose that for the time being. I think possibly what we could do is we could do a little squash in. What do you reckon? As in the button just going slightly smaller on that. I don't know. So hit subscribe, ring the bell. So well, let's do the bell first because that's fun. Okay. So I know what I want to do. And you remember I adjusted the point, the anchor point up to here because I knew what I was going to do. So okay, click there. So on the bell, which is down here, I'm going to apply a behavior, an oscillate behavior on there. Okay, so go behaviors. Is it going to be, it's going to be parameter, isn't it? Is it going to be oscillate? Yes, oscillate on there. And it's going to start from that click there, which I just hit I reckon probably end there. So what we want to do is we want to adjust the X on that. And it's going to have start and end on there. This might be a bit tricky. Okay. So we're going to go sine wave. Yep. Amplitude. And we're going to apply it to properties, transform, rotation. It's going to be Z, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Not bad. But it's too much and it's not fast enough. So amplitude's got to be down somewhere around there. Let's call that 16. And if we actually look in the keyframe inspector, it shows you what we've got. So the amplitude's fine, the phase is fine, the speed needs to be a lot more bigger than that. So how about we go there? It's going to be interesting. Yeah, not far off actually. Click on the bell. Looks, it doesn't. It needs to. Interesting. It looks if it stops too quickly, doesn't it? Maybe it needs a bit of drag on it or something. And also, what is this down here? Yeah. I'll do the speed. Or maybe I just use that as a. Maybe I use that as a guide and say it's 3 rings in that period, but just reduce the amplitude. Or maybe I apply a ramp to the amplitude. Is that the amplitude? Yes. So it starts off at 16. Okay, so can you put a behavior to another behavior? Let's find out. Right, parameter, ramp on there. And we're going to go from apply to behaviors, oscillate, amplitude, start at 16. Yes, and go to 0. Okay, now why is that gone like that? If I hit that button, what it does, it squishes all the keyframes up so you can see them all in one go. So that's, it's still not doing it correctly, is it? It's, so let's start off with a less amplitude on that, because it looks like that's rigged. Amplitude 16, start value, end. So why is that 0? Oh, I think I know why. Sometimes what you have to do is you have to take this off. So if we go disable, I think you take this off here, can't you? If we just take that off there, and then what we have to do is have to get rid of the oscillate keyframes on there. So if you put that down to 0, and then put this back on. Look at that. See that curve? Yeah, it stops too quickly, doesn't it? So we need that to be a bit longer. How about that? Still kind of, yeah, still, how about the curvature of that being, can we change the curvature? No, it's not going to do anything, is it? That ramp. How about having another sine wave? So we're going to go speed. We're going to go another one of those in there. And how about that? So click, ring. Still a clunk, isn't it, at the end, isn't it? It's a real old clunk. Quite surprised at that. And it's not the amplitude, it's that one I'm dealing with. How about that? You see, one thing I've noticed as well with these keyframes is that sometimes you can adjust them and they draw incorrectly. So I think we need to pull that down and then just adjust that to get that one in, like that. There's perfect. Oh, I can't believe I've done that. So that's a behavior on a behavior. And that oscillate. Again, draw that. So that's that ramp. Does that ramp start from before? Yeah, the ramp starts from here, doesn't it, to there? Is that why? The ramp's not the same as the... And I do like what we've got there. I'm curious to see if the ramp's a different rate. Yeah, that's why, because the ramp's not going down to 0, is it? But it's kind of given us what we want, hasn't it? But I like stuff to be perfect. So let's adjust that. We're going to put the ramp to the same hand pointer bell, and that's behavior. So that has to go up to there, and this has to go to there. So that actually will. That's even nicer. Subscribe, subscribed, ring the bell. Subscribe over, ring the bell. And what I will do is I think I'll just move that hand pointer XY down a bit. So it's to there, isn't it? It moves over. Again, get all the there. And I'm going to move that down. Let's say -100. And then move on to the next keyframe here. That's Y -100. And that will keep it at the same point. Or not. That was -83. -100. And it's going up, so it didn't actually take it. Okay. -100. There, ring the bell and off. Subscribe, click, yep, ring the bell and off. Subscribe, yep, ring the bell and off. Okay, I'm liking that so far and I'm going to hit save. Okay, I have to admit, sliding off and getting myself a cup of tea because I didn't think it was going to take this long, but we haven't finished yet. But what I am going to do is I'm going to try it out in Final Cut Pro 10. So let's go to Final Cut Pro 10. And here you can see, miraculously, I have some images waiting for the subscribe button. So let's go to XEffects Free and we will find our graphic. Okay, let's drop that on. So it just appears, click, and the bell rings and out it goes. Does that actually really look white? That doesn't look white, does it? Maybe it's just because we've got the grey there. Okay, a few things that strike me is obviously it's far too big at the moment. And the hand's probably a bit too big. All of which we can adjust. And I think the whole thing needs a drop shadow on it as well, possibly, which we'll do as a global thing. But I mean, let's just have a look in the inspector. Let's see how small we're going to actually pull that down to make it look about right. It's about somewhere around there, isn't it? So that's 60%. Yeah, maybe somewhere around there. Yeah, I reckon that's probably about right. About 60% click. Maybe we could make the hand, I think, going out possibly needs to be a bit more over to the left as well. I'd say reduce the hand size down, not by much, but a little bit. Okay, fine. So let's hide that and go back to here, and we need to turn that off because what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the hand size. Okay, on there, and you can see all these are red, so if I'm going to do it, that's going to change and put a keyframe in. And I think we could just do that to about that size. It goes click over there and down, and we said we wanted this to go off further to the right on there. So I'm going to move that over to there. You can see it is actually adjusting the, and out it goes on there. Right, like that so far. And we're going to check the inside of that, inside of the bell as well. No, it is white. It is white. Maybe it's just an illusion with the drop shadow on there. Just to check, the interior is that inside bell. And then we've got shape, style, fill. Yeah, that's 100% white. Maybe it's just one of those optical things. Right, now we're going to have some animation on here. We want this actually to come in and then go out after we've finished. And as you can see, we probably want to make that, might be slightly odd with the build in and build out, but you'll see why in a minute. So we're going to start from, put that in there. This is going to be all the build in. So I think we need to put that, ended up selecting all the layers. That. Do I need that anymore? No, I don't. That was the, I can delete that. I can delete that's gone. So if I delete, that was our grab, wasn't it? Yep. Don't need that anymore. That can go. That's the media gone as well on there. Hit save. Leave the background. That's before. And then we're going to put all of that into a group. But before I do that, I might actually take all three of these, move them down. Or alternatively, I could do that and then I could go back here and just go I. Yeah, let's move that as well, isn't it? That's not good. Yeah, let's leave it like that. So all of this animation is going to go in the build-in because we want that to be able to stay up for as long as people want to be able to read it. So really, it's the end of that movement is the put the marker in on there. Oh, I've got something selected, haven't I? On there. So if I remember right, actually, I need to have that selected. It's the movement of the hand pointer. I can put a mark on there. That's where my mark is going to be. But I'm going to take that off. I could deselect those. Let's say after that, and let go add marker, edit marker. And that's going to be built-in. Optional. Yeah. So all that is in the incoming. Yep. And then we're going to do maybe a second out. How long have we got on the way in? And pointer, we've got about 25 frames. Okay, so that should be okay. We're going to put a ramp on there, and then we're off there, and that's 129. So we need another 25 frames after that to make that easy. So why don't we make that... does it have to come up and then the hand come up? Because you're not going to see it if it's small. That's a good question, isn't it? I reckon it'd be all right, because I think most of the time it's going to be at the bottom of the screen. So by the time it comes in, so let's say it's 20 and 20. So we start there. That's going to be 120. So that's 130. So we do a 20 ramp out there. Yep. And a 20 ramp in. Okay, so I'm going to leave this up for, got 150. So let's leave it up for 10. Okay, so we'll put another add marker, and you'll see why I'm doing this in a sec. Go edit marker, build out optional on there. Okay, yep. And then that's going to go off. I'm going to do it with a ramp. Need to extend all of those for a start off. Let's go extend all those. We don't want to extend those ramp all the oscillates, but that just stays there. Okay. So I think we need the ramp, and it needs to come in by 20. Maybe even less. Okay, but let's put all these into a group. Okay, group. I'll call this moving group. Then I'm going to put a ramp on there. Okay. And it's just going to alter the Y. That's all. It's not going to alter the X. I'm just going to publish the X straight out as the X position. And then the ramp is going to be... Okay, we did say we're going to scale it as well. We did, didn't we? Okay, so we'll go down here and we call that 100. That needs to be 0. So let's publish that and go publish. We'll call this it's just scale, I think, and we said we was going to go to 60, didn't we? I don't think we need the width and height. Let's unpublish that and unpublish that. But we've got the build in, build out, which is correct on there. Okay, so that's going to go up. Yeah. So that ramp, it needs to go to the properties, transform position. Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to go start value will be minus, so that's going to be the Y, isn't it? Okay, so start value is going to be minus 1080. Yeah, you see it creeping up, look. Minus 1080 on there, and that's the end value is going to be 0. Should be there. Yeah, but this ramp is actually going to come right down to 20 frames in, which is going to be there, hit key, and then go up to there, hit that. Yep. Click. That's 10. So what I need to do now is put another ramp in and another ramp out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate, so call that ramp in. Yeah. And I'm going to duplicate that, mid ramp, ramp mid, and duplicate it again, ramp out. I've got them around the wrong way, but go ramp out, out even, out, ramp mid, and now in. Okay, now the end value, quite simply, I'm going to put that to a rig, create new rig, create new slider, and that's going to go from, it's minus 1080, isn't it? It should be minus 540, surely, if it's going to go off the screen. Yeah, it's going to be minus 540. So let's say minus 600. So let's say range minimum is minus 600. And maximum is 600, which would take it way off the screen. So we're going to ramp in. Yep. Start value is going to be minus 600, which will be off the screen, hopefully. Yep. And that end value is in the slider. So that's position Y. Y position. Yeah. Okay, then ramp out is going to start at the, and to rig, and Y position. Let's just take that off. And then the mid is just going to be the M position, N value. So again, that goes into rig, Y position, N value, rig, add to rig, Y position. Now I've just got to do a bit of rearranging. Now the mid is going to go from there to there. And then the ramp out, I have to lengthen this, is going to go from there to there. So why don't we lengthen the project? Okay, lengthen the project, we need to add another 10 on project. Properties, frames, what should we do, 170? Now we can be able to go to there and ramp out. Now we need more than that. We need, you know, we do. We've got it. We need actually 171 or 172. Okay, so 172. Again, push that out. I was near 173 even. There you go, down to there. Perfect. But it's all set, so it's not going to move. Apart from that one. So ramp out will go from start to 0. That's going to be minus 600. No, might have did the right one. Ramp out. You can actually alter these. Let's do that. Let's start value 6, end value minus 600. Like that. So it'll come in. Ring the bell, out, stationary, that bit stationary, and then it goes out. But we've got that disappearing because we've got, those aren't long enough. So let's extend those. Out it goes. Need another one on there, does it? Like that. Interesting. End of there. Motion has a habit of doing this. It kind of like just when you think you mastered the thing, it comes up with a. So why is that not allowing me to do that? Because it's 173. Okay, why not just go all the layers off? I think it does need to do that. And then it's that. Look, there's another animation in there. Look, that's creeping in. Okay, let's work out what's going on there. Subscribe. Down. It's because we made the red box longer, isn't it? Okay. Because because we stretched the whole thing out, it's actually made the red box longer proportionally. So that's before click. Subscribe, red box, before click. That goes down to there. Click. Yeah. And off. Hit the save button. Okay. Nearly there. Right, this rig is the actual Y position. So now if I adjust this, nothing happens because I haven't rigged it. Okay, right. It goes from -600 to -600. So again, this is going to go from -600 to -600. So -600. Tab. -600. Enter tab. -600. Tab. -600. Enter tab. Yeah, interesting. That maybe it needs to be more than 600. Because it's at 540 and that's just showing the top. So maybe it's that 60. That's 60 pixels. Okay, so let's call that 700 then. -700. That's going to be 700. That's going to be -700. Tab. -700. Enter. -700. Enter. Tab. -700. Enter. Okay. And you won't see it because we're going to push that right up to there. And then we're going to go 700. Enter. Do we want any higher than that? Possibly not. Interesting, that's 540 up. Why am I thinking this might actually be incorrect? Because if that's 540, okay, let's just try it out, shall we? 700, enter. Yeah, it's on the way up, that's why. 700, enter. 700, enter. Now you're saying, why have you done that? It's because now I can completely control this. Oh, I would do if it worked. We have got this bottom one wrong, so it's -700, and that's 700. Okay, so I'll put that to 0. Okay, so that's -700. -700, 700, all the way up to 700. Yeah, so if I go 0, put it on 0 there. It's going to go up. I've moved something, haven't I? Ring the bell. Down it goes. Okay, so using the ramps, it means I can move this thing up. Let's just have a look at where I've got the movement on this hand. Yeah, it's right at the beginning there, isn't it? So, actual fact, that should go there, and that ramp should go there. So you get the hat coming up. Ring the bell, it goes off, and that's. I like that. I like how quick that is. How quick have we got that? 15. So we need to make that 15. Shrink that back down. Duration 15. And then we're out there, which is going to be 156. So again, back to the project properties, which were on there. 156. Return. Now let's shorten that down to there. But does that mean we have got to go one more with that? Always get confused. Okay, so it's actually too long because this is going to be 16. That's 17. What is it? 15. But what I can do is maybe just trim all this. Go down. 156 project. It is 156. It's 155 then. 155. There we go, and out it goes. Up we go, click, bell, ring, and out it goes. Now, what I need to do with that rig is that's the Y position. I need to publish that. And then I need to publish the X of this. Publish, go to there. Now you could put them on a publishing. You could put them on a an on-screen control, but I think that'd be a bit over the top for this. So build in. So we've got X position, Y position. Might be there, you know. Let's put that on maybe minus 280. That actually might work. Quite like that. Okay, one thing we need to do on here is we just need to put the drop shadow on. So what I'm going to do is just going to turn that background on because we've got that. That's handy because we just happen to have that in there. I'm going to turn it back off, bear in mind, and we're going to publish the drop shadow. Distance on there and a bit of blur. And when the hand comes in, you've got there's a kind of like a double drop shadow on there, but that's okay. Yep. That should be fine on there. Right, publish the toggle, the color, the opacity, the blur, the distance, and the angle. Nearly there. So let's call it drop shadow, yep. On and off, but we're going to leave that on. So we've got build in, build out. I've done that so that this is always the same duration. You could build the thing in with a loop end, but I think that's just neater because you might want to leave it on, just cut off as well on there. Okay, so we're going to turn that background off and we're going to hit save. Do it once more. Hide that. Go back to Final Cut Pro 10. Take that off because we finished with that and bring that down on there. And there we have our finished. And having said that, I think it needs to be a bit low. What do you reckon? Oh, it would go a bit lower on there. And because we've done it all as a rig, Y position, let's put that down. It's a bit twitchy on here. Let's go minus 360. How's that going to look with the... Oh, I know what I've done as well. It's a linear move on the ramp. You see it looks really dull. So we're going to push that up a bit. So let's go minus 300 on there. And then look at the ramps. Ramp in, curvature, push that up to 100 and push that up to 100. So now you get this, you can see it in the keyframe here. You'll get a linear move, or not a linear move, a nice S-curve move, and that'll go off as well. Okay, file, save, and put this back on. Subscribe. Is that really at 300? Yeah, it is. Okay, we can alter that though, can't we? Look, that's where it needs to be, about minus 400. Maybe. Subscribe, ring the bell, do whatever you want. Now, because we put that build in and build out, just to prove it, let's stretch this over these pictures and it will go same, subscribe, ring the bell, and it should just stick there right until the last few seconds when it'll go off. Yep, and just to prove the build out works, if you're going cut to cut and you just want to cut out, that works too. Oh, we're there. So there you have it. An animating subscribe button for YouTube. And it looks pretty good, I think. Took us quite a bit of time to get there. There's quite a lot of techniques in there. We've got behaviors on behaviors, ramps, etc. But hopefully you followed along. I'm sorry it's been a bit of a long one, but I wanted to make it worthwhile. That's the final result. And that's free. You can find that on the Industrial Revolution website. I'll put the link in the comments below. And as I said, please subscribe. It says it in big letters here. Comments are always welcome. What shall I build next? Ring the bell for notifications, and likes are always appreciated. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. We'll build something else. Bye-bye.